Salvete omnes. This is Abbey Latin, Liber Primus, chapter 3. This lesson is on syntax, Latin verbs, the present tense, as well as the accusative case and its reasons, the direct object, and motion towards. First, let's cover agreement. A verb in Latin must agree with its subject in both person, that is first, second, or third person, and number, that is singular or plural. English does the same thing. So for example, like the girl loves the poet, girl is a third person singular, she, third person singular subject in the nominative case. Loves, the verb, because girl, the subject, is third person singular, if you remember how to conjugate an English verb, loves, third person singular, has an S. So it's not just love, it's loves. Who loves the poet? She loves the poet. The girl loves the poet. Girl is third person singular, nominative case subject. She loves the poet, so loves in English has the S. In Latin, puella poetam amat, we have puella, the A ending, the nominative singular ending. Poetam, there's the accusative, which will be explained shortly as the direct object. And then amat, the T, because puella is third person singular, the verb must have a third person singular T, OST, mustasunt ending. But if we have plural girls, puellae, we change this from the singular nominative to the plural nominative. Now they are third person plural. The verb must also follow suit to amant, not amat, third person singular, OST, but amant, third person plural, mustasunt. English does the same thing. Girls. Now we've added the S to make girl plural to girls. Loves, third person singular, that's the only one with the S in the English conjugation. Love, third person plural. The girls love the poet. Agricola pugnat, singular, third person singular. Farmer fights. Agricolae pugnant, third person plural. The farmers fight. Let's talk about different kinds of verbs. There are 4 different kinds of verbs. So 4 different ways to show action, being, existing, doing. So the first one, number 1, transitive verbs. So that means that the verb, the transitive verb, will take an accusative direct object. For example, I see the girl. The subject is I. I know that because I went to the verb and I asked, who is doing the action of the verb? Who is doing the seeing? Well, I am doing the seeing. I see. So I am the subject, see is the verb. Whom or what do I see? What is the noun, the object that I see? And that's going to be the girl. So the direct object. I see the girl. See takes a direct object. Now the opposite of that is an intransitive verb, in meaning un. So transitive crosses over trans to a direct object in the accusative in Latin. An intransitive verb does not take a direct object in the accusative. Instead, it'll take motion towards. It'll take something other than just the noun as the direct object. So for example, like verbs of motion. I am walking to the store, or I am running to the store. I am skipping to the store. I am jumping to the store. So these verbs of motion are typically intransitive because they require a preposition to help them out. The preposition helps guide or direct the action of the verb, like walking, towards, to a noun, towards a direction. We call this motion towards. So this is an intransitive verb because it just doesn't take the direct object, the noun. We don't say, I am walking store. Sounds odd. I am walking. We require that preposition to the store. Now the fun thing is that not all verbs in Latin are the same in transitive as they are in English. So sometimes what's a transitive verb in English might be an intransitive verb in Latin and vice versa, and you're going to have to learn that as you go along. Linking verb, sum es est, sumus estis sunt. The present tense of sum esse fui futurus. Sum is a linking verb. Linking verbs link a nominative subject with a predicate nominative or some other kind of predicate. Like, she is a girl. We are saying she equals girl. Who is she? She's a girl. This is the predicate nominative. Who is the girl? Who is? Who exists as a girl? She does. She is the subject. And then helping verb, a verb which helps another verb. Like, she is helping. The verb is helping the verb helping. If you take out the is, she helping, sentence sounds incomplete. She is helping, so is helping along helping. These are sometimes called auxiliary verbs, helping verbs. So we have transitive verbs. The verb takes an accusative direct object. Intransitive verb. The verb does not take an accusative direct object, but it can take an accusative of motion towards with a preposition. Linking verbs link a nominative subject with a predicate, usually in the nominative, and helping verbs help other verbs. So let's talk about that accusative direct object. Let's go more into depth. There isn't much more to talk about, but the accusative direct object, the noun which receives the action of the verb. So to find the direct object of an English sentence, you find the verb, and you ask yourself who or what is receiving that action, the action of the verb. So in the sentence, I see the girl, the verb is see. To find the subject, ask yourself who is doing the seeing, who is doing the action. That is I am doing the action. That's the subject in the nominative. The verb is see. Who gets the seeing? Who gets the action? Who receives the action of the verb see? That's the direct object, the girl. And in Latin, that's going to be in the accusative case. So let's look at this sentence. We look at the farmhouses. We look at the farmhouses, or we are looking at the farmhouses. We do look at the farmhouses. We have we las spectamos. We las spectamos. All right, first off, let's look at this noun we las. So let's go ahead and practice. So this is from previous chapter. It should still be fresh in your memory. Hopefully you've not already forgotten how to do this. So, villa, I, feminine, farmhouse. This is our dictionary entry. Villa is the nominative singular, and it goes in the nominative singular blank, unchanged. Villa. Here's the genitive singular, goes in the genitive singular blank as villae. You chop off the AE pronounced I to get the stem, will. And then we're going to put wheel in the rest of the blanks. That's our stem. Now, because this is a first declension noun, I can tell by the AE pronounced I in the genitive singular, this noun must have first declension endings, which are I, arum, is, as, is. So we get villa, villae, villae, villam, villa, villae, villarum, villis, villas, villis. And in the previous chapter, we talked about the nominative case and how the nominative's functions, its jobs or reasons, are to show the subject or the predicate nominative. So last chapter we focused on villa, this form, and villae, the plural, this form. So farmhouse and farmhouses. In this chapter we're focusing on here, the accusative. So villam and villas in the plural. So the accusative's main job is to show the direct object, that which receives the action of the verb. And in Latin, it's usually indicated by a by an M. The noun gets the direct object, gets the action of the verb. So villa, the farmhouse will do the action of the verb. The farmhouses will do the action of the verb. The accusative villam, the farmhouse is receiving the action of the verb, or I see the farmhouse. Or farmhouses, I see the farmhouses. The direct object, we las in the plural. So we check out the previous slide. We las spectamos. So we are looking at the we las, the farmhouses. So we are looking at the farmhouses. Agricolam specto. I am looking, or I do look. I look at the farmer. And just in case we don't remember what we're doing with verbs, let's go ahead and conjugate this verb specto in the present tense. So we have the principal parts, specto, spectare, spectavi, spectatus. So I want to look at, I looked at, I have looked at. Here we have the first, second, and third principal parts in English. Present indicative, with the two, it's the present infinitive. Past indicative, past participle. Principal parts in Latin, first, second, third, fourth. Okay. The first person singular in Latin is the first principal part, specto. So you write this one down unchanged. Then you need to find the verb's present stem. You go to the second principal part, chop off the RE. What's left is the present stem, specta, and you write specta and the rest of the blanks. Now we add the present tense personal endings. We already have the O that tells us I am doing the action, I look at. Then we add S, spectas, you look at, spectat, he, she, it looks at, spectamos, we look at, spectatus, ye or y'all look at, and spectant, they look at. Specto, spectas, spectat, spectamos, spectatis, spectant. I look at, you look at, he, she, it looks at, we look at, ye look at, they look at. You could also do the progressive or emphatic forms. So I am looking at, I do look at, you are looking at, you do look at. So for the accusative direct object, we have we las spectamos. We are looking at, this is first person plural, you can tell mus, we are looking at the direct object, the accusative, we las. It's got the accusative ending, we las. We look at the farmhouses. Agricolam specto. I am looking at the farmer. I do look at the farmer. So agricolam has the accusative ending. Okay. Remember, sum esse fui futurus. Sum cannot take an accusative direct object. Linking verbs do not take an accusative direct object. Linking verbs take a predicate nominative. So if you wanted to say, the poet is a farmer, because is a linking verb. It's not a transitive verb. Transitive verbs take accusative direct objects. Is a linking verb. Is going to take a predicate nominative. So agricola est poeta. The farmer is a poet. Poeta is predicate nominative. It's not poetam. Accusative direct object. Do not use an accusative direct object with sum. Do not use an accusative direct object with a linking verb. The other reason the job or function of the accusative case is to be used with a preposition like ad, a word that is praepositio, placed beforehand. So ad, the little word, the preposition goes before a noun, like ad Italiam, ad puellas. So ad is used with the accusative case. So the accusative always follows ad to show to where or whither the action is going, to where the action goes. So this is used with intransitive verbs, verbs of movement or motion, like walking or running or sailing. So ad Italiam navigant. Ad Italiam ad, the preposition ad, meaning towards, to, can also mean nearby, in the vicinity of. So it shows motion, like a direction, moving towards this accusative Italiam. And then navigant with the unt, that's third person plural, they sail, they are sailing. They sail to where? Remember that sail, navigo, That's an intransitive verb, and it will not take an accusative direct object. They sail Spain. They sail Italy. I'm sorry, that Spain should say Italy. They sail Italy. They sail Spain. We don't say that. We say they sail to Italy. They sail to Spain. So ad Italiam navigant. They sail to, and that should say Italy. Italy. Ad Italiam. Accusative, motion towards. Ad puellas ambulamos. We are walking towards the girls. We are walking towards the girls. Puellas, accusative plural. Towards the girls. We don't say we are walking the girls. We are running the girls. We are sailing the girls. Those are intransitive verbs and require a preposition like towards or to. We are walking towards, to the girls. We are running to the girls. Ad puellas. So we have accusative direct object that goes with transitive verbs, receives the action of the verb, and accusative motion towards with a preposition like ad to help guide or direct the action of an intransitive verb towards an object. Optime, very well done. Okay, we've talked about how to conjugate Latin verbs in the present tense. We have also talked about the nominative case, showing the subject and the predicate nominative using linking verbs. We have also talked about the accusative case, showing the direct object or motion towards with a preposition like ad, used with an intransitive verb. Optime, that's a lot. Very well done. You are now ready to try your hand at the rest of the exercises in Chapter 3. Valete omnes.